Hey everybody, I'm Jason from Fuzzlord Effects, and you're listening to the Fuzz Life podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk about different ways that you can record your guitar at home. People are spending a lot more time at home right now with everything that's going on and looking for things to do, and I think recording music and sharing it with the world is a really good thing to be doing right now. I think if people were recording more of what they were playing, they would see that they're getting a lot better or like progressing a lot faster than maybe they're aware of. And also right now, people, I think, need more positive, creative content getting put out there in the world. So that's why I wanted to take some time to sit down and talk about a couple ways that you can do that at home that's pretty easy. So let's get started talking about that. Before we get started, if you have some time to leave a review or share this podcast with a friend, I would really appreciate it. So one of the easiest ways that we can record guitar at home, especially if we want to share it with other people like bandmates or our friends, or just to put it out there for people to check out and listen to, I think using our smartphones is a really good way to record at home if you kind of make a few adjustments to the way people usually do it. The classic clips that I see on the smartphone is that the people are standing really close to the camera with their amplifiers pretty far behind them that aren't incredibly loud. And what we hear is a lot of noise from the pick on the strings, all the pick attack and stuff. So if you can play your amplifiers incredibly loud while you're using your iPhone, then awesome. It's going to come out really cool. And you might even get like the whole shaking camera thing going on. But for the most part, something we can do to make the iPhone or whatever kind of smartphone you're using sound a lot better, especially if we're recording at home in our apartment or something, is to set up our phones and put the amplifier like actually way closer to the phone than maybe we usually would. That way the sound from the amp is like right next to the phone's condenser mic, and then you can stand farther back across the room. That way we don't hear the pick attack. And you can even zoom in with your camera to where, you can have it to where the frame is your guitar and your hands playing and stuff, or your drums or whatever it is you're doing. Point being, get the noise you're making with your wallet chain, your keys, your pick, and everything in between away from the condenser microphone on the smartphones that's trying to just compress everything it hears and take in every sound and like basically make them like even. So that is like one easy trick you can do to get a better sounding iPhone recording that's right on your phone. And then all you got to do is like post it to Instagram or Facebook or send it to one of your friends in a message. All right, the next way that you can record some really good sounding clips at home is to just DI into an audio interface. For example, I use the Focusrite 2i2, which is a pretty basic audio interface that just sounds good, works good, gets good results. And you can use a DAW of your choice. So some people use Audacity. I like using Reaper. There's Pro Tools and a whole bunch of other things out there. But a DAW is like a recording program that you use in your computer that you can also use some different effects and like audio treatments in the program. So what I like to do is download something called VST plugins. There's a whole bunch available because there's some that you can purchase. There's ones that are like open source and for free, but you can download different guitar pedal simulations. Like I have one that's like a fake rat, Tube Screamer, got like a JCM 800 plug-in, the cabs that go with it. And you can basically use effects and just DI your guitar right into your computer via an audio interface and get a really good sound. So it might not sound exactly like a rat into a JCM 800 with a full stack with your like Greenback Celestians, but at 2 a.m. when you want to record some music or like document some riffs or just like make something to share with people, I guarantee you that the VST plugins that you use at 2 a.m. with headphones and actually record something are going to sound 1,000 times better than the recording you didn't make because you didn't have the access to the big amps and stuff. So another way you can get good sounding audio clips at home, that's kind of an extension of the DI from the previous example, is using some sort of cab sim with your guitar pedals and then running into the audio interface or whatever you're using to record. I use the Cab Zeus Mono, for example, which just has quite a few different like preset cab EQ kind of treatments like greenbacks and a bunch of other different models in there. And that's one of those things that really tends to make things sound more like what we're used to when we're playing in a live room. When we're playing our guitar pedals into our amps and the speakers and the whole setup, the speakers in the cab actually have quite a bit of like filtering over the overall sound of everything else we're pumping into it. So by not having those speakers when we're recording with the DI, that tends to be something that we hear as like not sounding as good. So there's a bunch of different companies that make different cab sim types of pedals. But if you're somebody that likes turning knobs and kind of having things on the floor, that's something that works good with a pedal board. Then you can DI into your computer or whatever you're using to record, and then get a sound that you're kind of more used to. All right, the last method we'll talk about is using a load box with your tube amp. So I have a Laney AOR 50 head, 50 watt head that I like to play. So if I want to play that thing 2 or 3 in the morning and not get the cops called on me, what I like to do is use a load box of some sort. I use the Weber one, I forget the exact model, but it basically makes it so we can take a tube amp, disconnect the speakers that we have to have hooked up on a tube amp to turn it on and run it. And then we replace it with a load box, which simulates the load of the speakers to keep the transformer happy and the tube amp happy and not blowing parts and stuff. And then we can DI out of that. So you can DI out of that and then run into your DAW and then use different cab simulation plugins like the VST plugins in your computer. Or you can use that with the cab sim pedals. So my setup is I have my pedal board run into my Laney AOR 50, and then the AOR runs out into the load box to take care of, we need to have a load when we have a tube amp on, or else we're going to blow tubes in the transformer and just fry a bunch of stuff. And then out of that, take the DI out into the cab sim box. And then I like it because I have everything like right there in front of me. I can tweak the EQ on my amp. I can mess with the different cab simulations on the pedal going right in to my DAW. So I don't have to do really any post-processing stuff. If I really wanted to, I might EQ and compress the signal just a little bit afterwards, after it was recorded. So hopefully those examples were helpful to you, and then maybe you'll check some of them out. I think it's really important right now, again, with everything going on in the world, to post creative content that's positive, to share music and or artwork or whatever it is you're working on, and put more positive things out there. If you do start recording and you want to share some riffs, why don't you tag the @Fuzzlord Effects Instagram page so that I will see it. Again, I'm Jason from Fuzzlord Effects, and you've been listening to the Fuzz Life podcast, and I really appreciate you taking the time to check it out. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a rating, and share it with a friend. You can keep up with me on a daily on the Instagram page @Fuzzlord Effects. Check out fuzzlordeffects.com. You are listening to the Fuzz Life podcast, and until next time, I look forward to talking to you soon. If you haven't yet, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel, check out some more videos, or maybe share one with a friend. If you want to keep up with me on the daily, you can check out the Instagram page @FuzzlordEffects, fuzzlordeffects.com. Check out the Fuzz Life podcast, and if you'd like to help support this YouTube channel, you can check out our Patreon page, which is linked in the description. A big thank you to all of our Patreon supporters whose names are running on the screen right now. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and until then, I look forward to talking to everyone in the comments.